All right, y'all, what's up, what's up, what's up? I wanted to record some more about these money ideas. Um, Now, this one's not going to be as straightforward as the other ones. It's kind of like a circle back kind of method. So, a lot of us do Amazon Prime, orders, right? We order stuff on Amazon Prime. I know I'm not the only freaking person who does that. I order a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime. Now, I'll give you an example, a recent example. This, or sometime last week, or maybe 2 weekends ago, I ordered these earbuds. I've talked about it a little bit before. I ordered these earbuds on Amazon Prime. I wanted the classic, Apple earbuds that you just stick in your ear. It has the lightning cable and it connects through the cable to your phone and you just listen. I wanted those classic ones. I like the feel of the wire. I like the feel of the earbud pieces. And I'm just familiar with it. So I wanted the official Apple ones. I could not find them on Amazon Prime to save my life. But I did find this $21, item, a $21 item for what did I say? It was a $21 item of two headphones that looked similar enough. Now, what they didn't tell me is that when I would get them, that they would plug in and it would be Bluetooth. I don't know why they had like a wired Bluetooth, but I think it was like the receiver. They used some kind of situation with the receiver. The plastic was cheap on the parts that go in your ear. Um, the cable didn't feel the same as that same type of like plastic kind of rubbery coating that Apple actually uses on their headphones. I didn't like it. I didn't like them at all. I didn't see the point. They didn't really connect to my phone very easily. And then I'm like, well, if it's Bluetooth and it's not wireless, like I can't just like plug my phone in to charge it because the port's taken by this stupid, lightning cable. And I don't know if Apple has, there might be some kind of adapter that you can have two, like two ports. So maybe there's an adapter where it's like, kind of like how they used to have like split headphones or like those split mics or whatever, how you have two mics or two people can listen to headphones at the same time. Like maybe they have some kind of double lightning port cable that you plug into your phone and then it makes it so you have two ports available instead of just the one. So you could technically charge that way. Ah, these motorcycles. Sundays, man. Motorcycles come out. Um Sorry, they're at a light, so they're gonna be revving their engines for a while. Um so annoying. At least we haven't heard a lot of sirens yet. But yeah. So yeah, I ordered those. I didn't like them. Um but they're 21 bucks, right? So it's easy to kind of be like it's a $21 item that I know I'm not going to like or use. It would be easy to forget about it and just, let the possibility to return it, let that expire. But I'm on top of my game with Amazon returns. If I'm not going to use something, I'm returning that thing, you know. Great. Now they set off a car alarm. They set off a car alarm. I don't know if you can hear that. The joys of living in the city. Um, so, anyways, after that, fast forward to this last week. I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday. I wanted to order in advance, so I ordered Tuesday and Wednesday. For Friday, I was, because Friday I had to go to that wedding that had the costumes, and I didn't have a costume. So I was like, well, I don't want to be driving around the stores. Let me just go on Amazon and find a costume. So I found the cheapest one of a Grim Reaper costume. The way that it looked, I was like, okay, let's see. It got to me the next day. It was just the cloak. It was the hood with like the shoulder cape, but it didn't have the arms. It wasn't like a robe. And I was like, I didn't want this. But it came with accessories of like a face mask, skeleton gloves, and one of those kind of like a scythe kind of weapon thing, or tool technically. And I, for reaping, like that whatever it's called that you reap with, I think it's called a scythe. And then that's what I've been calling it, so I don't know. Maybe I should look that up. But you know, that came. It wasn't all something I was gonna use, but I was like, well, I can use the accessories. And then I just found a Grim Reaper robe to order. It didn't come with a belt, so I had to use a little rope that I already had at home. And so I used that robe with the rope that I took from home, and I used the face mask and the gloves from the other costume. Now, I literally wore this from, like, let's say at the earliest 5:45 p.m. till the latest like 9:30 p.m. That's the amount that I used it for that amount of time. And I'm never going to use it again. It wasn't even 3 full hours. So I don't feel bad returning it. I'm like, I didn't use it. Um, really. I mean, I did use it, but it's like, it was only for that event. So I'm returning it because it's like, I'm not going to use this again. And it's still within a window of being able to return. So I'm freaking returning it. I kept the bags, I kept the packages, I labeled like what goes in where, and I returned it. So yesterday I took my Amazon returns in, and so there's that. And then I also keep track of my apps. Sometimes I fall off of keeping track, but I like to go back in and make sure that Apple isn't charging me for all kinds of stuff. I often get charged for Amazon, um, and so I have to make sure I go in there and physically unsubscribe on a regular basis. I get charged for YouTube as well, the $18.99. I think Amazon charges like 15 something a month. But guys, these are charges, like this stuff adds up to be like over $100 at a certain point. $20 here, $20 there. Like, so I did the calculations on this. Earbuds, 20 something dollars. Right? Everything's almost 20, so let's just estimate 20. I think it was actually like $21, 18.99, like 19.93, like some numbers like that. But it was earbuds $21. Let's call it $20. Earbuds $20. Uh, first costume $20. Second costume $20. Um, one of my apps charging me that I don't want to pay for anyways. I caught it that same day, so I went to Apple to unsubscribe. That's another $20. Making sure that Amazon's not going to charge me this month because they somehow find a way to charge me every month. Um, but yeah, so that's you know 4 items already counted. $80. $80 in returns, guys. $80 in returns. So think about that. You know, if you're ordering stuff online, don't let it expire. Drop it off. There's a store near me. I just make sure I have everything with me. Go in the store, have the QR codes ready, and just go in and drop them off and have them scanned one at a time. That money's gonna be back to me earliest today, maybe in a couple days. $80. And if I let the Amazon Prime, go through, you know, that would have been another 15 something dollars. So that it would have been an expense. So that's already like 95 or so dollars, about $95 that I would have had to spend um that I'm getting $80 reimbursed. Now, I've said before, some of these methods are a little bit controversial, you know. Some people you might not feel like, okay, if I wore a costume from 5:45 to 9:30, I did technically open it and wear it, but I'm like, I'm literally never going to wear it again. And if I need another one, I'll just go order another one. I'm literally never going to wear it again. The robe didn't even really fit properly. It didn't come with like an actual tie for it, so I had to make one. Um, the other costume came with just the cape part with the hood attached to it and all these little side accessories, but I couldn't use that, and the cape part didn't really even fit anyway. So it's like these weren't even perfect fit items. I just used it because that's what I had. So it's kind of like, you know, it's crappy items that are marked up anyways. Most of them are made in China, and then they're marked up to like $20. I mean, these people are spending like $3 to $8 for these items, and then they're waiting for the shipping to take forever, and then they're reselling it. And you know, I'm paying for the convenience for it to get to me the next day. That's why I'm paying $18, $19, $24 for some of these items, but they're all cheap, kind of crappy items from China for the most part. That are rarely going to cost over $5 or $8 from China. They're usually way cheaper from China. So I'm paying for the convenience of having it on my doorstep the next day, basically, and the convenience of being able to return it easily at my own convenience. And I don't know. I don't feel bad about it, but I know it's controversial. And the same thing with YouTube. You can just use a different email account. If you're on a month where you don't want to pay for your YouTube subscription, there's a lot of subscriptions like this that you don't have to pay for it every month. You can just create a new email and have a new account, for free. So that's one way to save money. It's like if it's $20 a freaking month almost, it's like $19 a month. I mean, Uber Premium I mean, not Uber, but YouTube Premium used to be like, I think it used to be like $9.99 or something, $5.99, $9.99. It was cheap. Then they shot up to $15.99. Now it's $18.99. It's not better. Like the quality of YouTube isn't better. They didn't improve anything. They've changed things, but I'm not getting an extra $3 or $4 worth of anything, So I don't know. It's controversial, but if you think about it, you can save a lot of money, at least by returning stuff that you know you're not going to use. Now I think you lose money if you pay that extra $2.99. I think you do lose money on that. I don't think they reimburse you for that little shipping fee. Um, and so you are paying for that. You're not getting all your money back to the cent. So you are having an expense. So I'm like, I did use it. I will have an expense, but I'm not gonna sit on like three products, you know, three, four products, that are gonna run me like $80 if I keep them, if I'm never gonna need it, It's just a waste. It's a waste of money. But that's kind of how I see it. I don't mind if people see it differently. Like that's perfectly fine. Um, but yeah, um, that's kind of what I have to say for this one. It's just, focusing on your returns. Um, and I guess another thing I wanted to mention was credit cards. Now, none of this is financial advice. They're kind of like interesting tips that you can kind of maybe think about. I talked before about gigs where you can actually make money, supplement your income, supplement your expenses. But I wanted to talk about credit too. because credit building is important. I don't have any sponsorship to any of this stuff, but say, for example, if you have an account with Capital One. Capital One is a free checking account, to my knowledge. I think it's still free. Mine's free and completely free. Sign up online. It's all online. You can get a $200 secured card where you basically put $200 on it that you can use. $200. Now I would say if you have something coming out of your account every month and it's not over $200, I would say things like gym memberships, car insurance, maybe if you have some kind of layaway item that's for just a few months or something. Those to me are like the easiest ways to build credit. Like stuff that you know you're already paying for that's going to come out of an account somewhere. Maybe put all your like Apple purchases on there or your app purchases on there and don't have too many so that it goes over $200. But make sure you keep that card loaded with $200 every month and then everything comes off of that. And then you're building credit, because you're keeping it replenished and then you're paying for the stuff that you already know you're going to need. Now, you're going to have to keep the money on there because you don't want your car insurance to lapse. You don't want to have no gym membership and go in to like log in one day and then like they don't notice you and you're not in the system and it's a whole thing. You don't want to, have something on layaway that you miss a payment or something. But I feel like anytime that you're going to make a routine payment like that once a month, if it's coming straight out of your bank account, you're kind of missing an opportunity if you already have credit cards. And that's one way to pay your credit cards and then pay them off because it's stuff that you already know that you're paying for anyways. So if you see that, your car insurance is $30, just load your card with $30. If you see that you're paying $18.99 for YouTube Premium, put $18.99 on that card for that. If you're seeing that you're paying like a $27 24-hour fitness membership, I'm using my own examples, put that on there. If you're, paying for some other thing that you bought that you have to make 4 installments on or something, put that on there, you know? And then how many opportunities is that to build credit every month? Like, you're going to make the payments anyways. But don't use the card for other stuff. Don't be like, oh, I'm going out to dinner. Let me use my card. Oh, I want Uber Eats. Let me use my card. Don't use it for little purchases like that. Use it for stuff that you're already paying for and capitalize on that by getting your credit score up because you're doing it every month. You already know you have the money for this stuff because you're already paying for it every month, right? And so just put the money on the card. Make sure it's there. Don't touch it for any other reason, you know? But people don't have self control. Um, don't get into credit card debt, but you can use debt to your benefit if you're strategic about it. And that's what it is with all these money things, all of these small gigs and all of these cards that don't have like a really high limit or anything like that. Don't get into anything like too extravagant. Pay off your stuff, put it on there. You know, if I need money, say if I need $100, how long will it take in a week for me to make $100 doing Uber Eats? If I get $10 for one order, about then that's about 10 orders I have to get. And then during a week, if you only drive weekdays and you need 10 orders in a week, that's 2 deliveries a day, guys. 2 deliveries a day. You can do 2 deliveries on your way home from work. You can just pick up 2 deliveries on your way home. And that's $10 a day. And then get that money and put it on your credit card. There's $100 that you needed. Just be strategic about it. Write it down and put what you're going to do for what day. I do it's Sunday today, so I got to do it today, but I do a budget for every week. Usually Sundays are my budget days. I do a budget every week for how much money I need for how much stuff, and I go make that money that I need for those things. And then I put it where it needs to go, and then I've already resolved what I need to do for that week. I don't really have to figure out any other finances. But if you start spending extra for extra stuff that you don't need, that's where it gets people caught up. You know, you want to make sure everything is accounted for. And so you got to have a strategy with it. You got to be organized. You got to be strict. You can't slip. You can't give yourself permission to slip. If you want to have a card, get a slip card for yourself. Just be like, this is the card. Don't get a credit card to slip. Get a debit card to slip and be like, this is where I'm paying for stuff that I don't need. Uber Eats deliveries are a big one for most people. It's like at least $25 per delivery or more. I've paid $35 for a delivery before. I've paid $40 for a delivery before. It's expensive out here. I've seen on Caleb Hammer's YouTube channel how people in Texas they're spending like $15, $13 for their deliveries. I'm like, dude, my deliveries cost me a fortune. And I don't do that monthly $9.99 thing to give you like however much percentage off or whatever. Because I just try not to order it. I try to do like one monthly order. You know, the beginning of the month, first week of the month, I'll get a delivery and then call it a day. But those are kind of the tips I have for now, as far as like expenses for things and how to get them covered. I mean, it's not, you know, a rocket science kind of thing, but I think somebody might need to hear this. I get motivated when I hear people talking about finances, and I get all kind of ideas just from overhearing people talk about stuff. And this is how I do it. It's not like normal. Like I don't do things like normally like most people do. I know that my methods are different. There's a lot of stuff that I don't pay for. People hardly hear me talking about credit cards. Like I don't use credit cards like most people do. And like I said, the way that I do it, do the strategy. Make a strategy with it because you'll see yourself paying for stuff. If your car insurance is due at the first week of the month, your gym is the second week of the month, your whatever you're paying off is due the third week of the month, and then the fourth week of the month, say you have, I don't know, you want to put $40 towards your gas or whatever it is. You can put all that on one card, you know, and pay it off every month. Or you can just add the money every week. I need $30 for this week, another $30 for that week, another $100 for the next week, and then maybe $40 for the last week. And then there you go. You've already got $200. You've already made four payments in a month that you've paid off right away, and that counts towards good credit payments, staying in good standing, using your credit wisely. Now you're not really supposed to max it out, so you don't really want to do that method. That's not the best method because you want to use less. So if your credit card is that much money, you actually want to use less. You don't want to use $200 of your $200. You want to use $25 or $50 of your $200. You don't want to max it out. So maybe you would put one or two things on that card that are small, and then you might have another card where you put the $100 item or something. But you don't want to be maxing out your cards. It's not a good idea. I know that people say 30%. I try to keep it at 20 to 25%, just for that little buffer. That I think I used to do once a month. I would order an Uber Eats delivery off of my credit card once a month. That's all I used to use it for, was first of the month or first week of the month. The first time I want to do an Uber Eats delivery, I'll use that card. And I was good with it for a really long time. And then there was a period of time where I kind of let it get out of control because it's there and the money's just sitting there. And every now and then it's like, okay, time to make a bad decision. But once you make a bad decision, back the F out of it. Back the F out of it and go back, make the money, pay it off, get the money back into those accounts where it belongs. Don't don't screw yourself, guys. Don't screw yourselves up. So that's what I would recommend. Um, Again, it's not professional advice, but that's the best that I could recommend. I think a lot of times people don't realize how much they're actually spending. I mean, if you go through your bank and see all the stuff you pay for, like whenever I do it, there are some weeks where I'm just like shocked. Like I didn't know I was getting charged for this. I didn't know I was like, there've been weeks where I added up like $120 in like totally unnecessary expenses just from little stuff, little bitty stuff. Oh, I went and got gas on a day that I didn't really need gas, but I was at a gas station, so I bought a candy bar because I wanted one, or I made a weird 7-Eleven run, or I went and got like a $9 smoothie from Jamba Juice because I wanted it, you know. Didn't need it, wasn't hungry, wasn't a meal, just I wanted a $9 smoothie, you know. I could have made a freaking smoothie at my house with a 99 cents yogurt and some fruit, like I already have the stuff at the house. I could have done that, but did I? No. Um, but yeah, but that's kind of how I see it. Everybody has their opinions and their ways of doing things. I just think, try not to be wasteful, try to be strategic, try to be organized, try to plan, um, and then, have a day of the week, at least one day, where you plan out what you're going to spend on what days. It'll just make life easier. It sounds like it's hard and like it's easier to just sit and watch Netflix or whatever, but do it, watch sports and do it during halftime. Um, like it's really not that hard. You just have to put your mind to it, and in the long run, it'll relieve more stress than it'll make for you. I mean, for most people, it's stressful to have like a lot of debt and financial issues, but it's very easily avoidable. Now, I'm not talking about people who lost their job or like really are having like some issues with like maybe getting medicine or their kids are sick or whatever, they can't like get what they actually need. I'm talking about those extra, you know, McDonald's runs, 7-Eleven runs, going out of town without considering how the extra gas is going to affect your wallet. Like I mentioned, just going to and from downtown for me is already going to cost me 18 bucks. That's before I've paid for something, and I'm not just going to go there just to drive back. I'm going to go there and I'm going to do something, and usually what I do is going to cost me at least 20 bucks probably. Like unless I'm just getting like Starbucks, that might be cheaper, but usually I'm not going to drive all the way downtown to grab freaking Starbucks, you know, or McDonald's or something. Even McDonald's, if you get a combo, it's already over $10. If you get a combo at Subway, it's already almost $15. You have to go somewhere like In and Out. If you get just a cheeseburger and fries at In and Out, it's like less than $7. If you go to Subway and get a cold cut with no avocado, a foot long, that's gonna cost you under $10. Everything else on the menu, other than veggie or kid stuff, is gonna cost you over $10 at Subway. So you gotta kind of know where you're going, know how much it costs, be strategic about it. Which gas stations are cheaper? Where can you get free parking? Because it's easy, to be like, oh, I just went to, you know, I just went downtown twice this month. If you're not paying attention to what you're spending, you're gonna spend a lot of money. Okay, I went downtown. It cost me 18 bucks for gas. It cost me 15 bucks for parking. It cost me $20 for, you know, whatever, $22 for a cheap meal or something. Um, that's 55 bucks. If I do that twice in a month, that's $110 just to go there, eat something, come back. right? Maybe I'm meeting with a friend, but if I do that and then I'm doing local stuff every weekend and not paying attention to how much I'm spending, and then staying home and ordering deliveries and not paying attention to how much I'm spending, and then ordering stuff on Amazon Prime and not paying attention to how much I'm spending, that $110 turns into like two, three, $400 easily, right? I know I'm not even exaggerating, you know, because I know that on the months when I don't track it or the weeks when I'm not tracking it and I'm just like, it's just one extra thing, it's just one thing. But those little one things add up. Just like I mentioned, I ordered stuff on Amazon Prime and those little one things added up to $80. You know, take two trips out of town, that's going to be $110. So, life isn't cheap these days. And I think a lot of us are in the habit of like, oh, I want this now. Let me just not think of it. It's one little order. What's one little order going to hurt? But one little order, five little times, and then a couple extra ones that aren't accounted for, and a couple little trips out of town, and then a couple little trips in town, it's going to add up. So, if it's not in the budget or if it's not on the plan, if you didn't write it down, don't do it, or adjust. Scratch one thing out that you were going to do and replace it with a new thing. Don't go overboard. It's easy to go overboard. So that's it for now. If I think of more money topics, I'll be posting them.